Good morning. Xavier, can you hear me okay?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Yep, we can hear you.
Great, thanks. I'm not seeing Miss Wilson online. Is she in the room?
No, currently we have you and Nina Holzer online. None of the board members are present.
All right. Well, Miss Roque is absent today. So we'll need Miss Wilson to be able to proceed.
Understood. I'll notify you if I see her walk in or if I see her enter the meeting.
Okay.
Thanks, Xavier.
Can someone try and reach out to Miss Wilson?
Yes, I will right now, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I sent her a text.
Super. Thanks, Liz. Xavier, I'm not seeing any council people online. Are there any present?
No, Madam Chair, no council people are present in the room.
Okay, let's make an announcement to folks that we don't have a quorum as yet, so we're going to be waiting a few minutes.
You want to?
Good morning, everyone in the room and online. We are waiting a few minutes until we have one more member with us. As we only have 2 members online, we do not have a quorum yet. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. And I see Ms. Wilson has joined us online.
Excellent. We have a quorum then? We'll go
Yes.
ahead and read the preamble.
Good morning, my name is Liz Kukla, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, May 20th. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comments on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Super, thank you. Let's call the roll.
Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Ms. Holzer,
Present.
Ms. Faith,
I am present.
and Ms. Roga will be absent this morning. Madam
Correct.
Chair, we have a quorum with 3 members.
All right, let's go ahead and make our announcement when we're in that situation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So to everyone in the room and on the call, specifically to the appellants, of course, with 3 members being present, you run the risk of a non-unanimous vote in this case. And in that case, the variance would be denied. There would be no change to the decision made by Building and Housing or License and Assessments. So at this time, if the appellants would like to request a postponement to a future date when we have more members, we are unsure the date of when we will have 5 members, but perhaps 4 members would make a difference. So postponing to the near future could possibly help in this case. So approximately 30 days would be the postponement. Generally, that's the time period that we give. So if there are any appellants at this time who would like to postpone their case, please raise your hand and let us know.
Ms. Kukla, let's make it clear to everyone that at this particular point in time, we are a 5-member board and we are short 1 member. And 1 member is absent today. We are now, I believe we have been rescheduling cases into August for those persons wishing to have a 5-member board, which is when we anticipate that may happen. Is that not correct, Ms. Kukla?
Yes, Madam Chair, that is correct. In the more recent cases, we have given an additional amount of time to allow for us to have a full quorum of board members or a fully staffed board. So yes, that is what we've done in the past, is given them the 60 days approximately, or a little bit more. But again, with the 4 members, if there is a need to hurry up and get the process through, of course, we would give them less time in that case if they wish.
Right. I just want to make people clear that if they want 5 members, it is going to be a wait. So are there any appellants in the room at this time that wish to postpone their case?
Madam Chair, we do not see anybody with their hand raised.
Okay. All right, let's go to anyone online. If you are an appellant and you're online and you wish to have your case postponed at this time, if you'll raise your hand, and Mr. Bay will recognize anyone with their hand up.
This is Xavier Bay, Madam Chair. I see Greg Martin in the participants panel with his hand raised.
All right. Mr. Martin, if you'd like to identify yourself and the case that you're here to represent.
Yes, again, my name's Greg Martin, and it's, I guess, case 24062. Reading this correctly. I actually had a question about this, the process.
Yes.
And if I go through today and it is not approved, what is the process of setting back up? Is there an opportunity then to join the next meeting, or is it one and done?
Good question. Ms. Kukla, would you like to respond to Mr. Martin's question for the benefit of everyone?
So, Madam Chair, this may be more of a legal question. If I'm hearing the appellant's question correctly, he's asking if he could go forward with testimony, and at the time of the board's decision, would he ask for a postponement, or he would allow for the decision to be made and then ask for an additional hearing? So ideally, the appellant would request the postponement at this time before any testimony is taken. I believe legally it is, I don't know if it's what the word would be, Ms. Cornely, but taking testimony and then at the end requesting for a postponement or allowing a decision to be made and then asking for a rehearing. I'm just not sure if that's the way we want, if that's, I know it's not a clean process, not the way we would want to go forward.
We can't go to a vote and then have a rehearing because they didn't like the vote. That would be the res judicata. As to whether we can take testimony now and vote, no, because then you'd have to rehab all the testimony because we have two members that haven't heard it.
Correct. So we would really need the appellant to make that request at the beginning of the hearing.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I also see Shannon Leonard's hand raised.
All right, Ms. Leonard, would you like to make comment on this question?
Not on this specific question, no.
Okay,
But for Mr. Martin specifically, I would just recommend him going forward. I don't foresee any issues with the request.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
All right.
the clarification. Thank you.
Ms. Leonard, I think for the record, you should, since you're making that advisement, let's be sure that your role is clear, state your position.
Yeah, this is Shannon Leonard, Chief Zoning Administrator, City of Cleveland.
Great, thank you. I think that's important. All right. All right, so Mr. Martin, you wish to proceed and not postpone at this time?
That is correct. Yes.
All right, great. All right, you are not at the top of the agenda. So we'll go to the top of the agenda. And that would be calendar number 24-061 for Ms. Holzer.
Sounds good. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Our first case is calendar number 24-061. This is at 1596 East 82nd Street. Stephanie Sanders, owner, proposes to establish use as a type A home daycare in a residence located in a D2 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will swear in all who are present for this matter. Do we have anyone in the room?
No.
Stephanie Sanders is online, if you are wondering.
Yes, I just was checking to see if there was anyone in the room. It sounds like there is not. So I will go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Stephanie Sanders, 1596 East 82nd Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44103. Can you hear me well?
Thank you. Yes, I
You're
can hear you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter?
No, it's only me.
Okay, we still have to just ask to see if anyone else has shown up that
Understood.
you may not know about. I don't hear anyone else, Madam Chair, so I'm going to hand it back to you.
Super, thank you. All right, we'll take history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1933, a permit was issued to install a new roof over a second-story porch. 1971, a permit was issued to erect a private garage. And also in 1971, there were repairs to the upstairs and downstairs porches. There are no variances on file and nothing of note other than in 2021 was a registration for rental that was issued to the property. And in 2023, there was a lead safe certificate issued.
Oh, that's important. That was 2023, was the lead safe?
Yes.
Super.
Madam Chair, I apologize. The status is pending on that.
All right, status is
Yeah,
pending.
sorry about that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, we'll take the legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without a variance. Will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights. Granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super. Thank you so much. All right, Ms. Sanders, tell us about this childcare facility that you wish to open.
Hello. So, yes, my name is Stephanie Sanders, and I've owned this property for about, I want to say it's going to be 4 years now. Just to give you a little story as to why I'm, leading to opening a Type A facility. It was vacant and actually like a nuisance to the neighborhood because it was boarded up and there was like, it wasn't in terrible condition compared to other places, but there was blight. And I was able to renovate it and get it up and going, whereas I also participated, excuse me, in the renovation. And initially we were sheltering women coming out of the shelter. We sheltered about 4 to 5 families, and a common occurrence that we saw was that they had a lot of children and they didn't have many people to, or family members, or even income for people to watch their children. So we, we got with many of those tenants and we spoke with them and asked them what their needs were. And they said that their need is that they need daycare services. There is a lack of daycare services. The ones that they did try to seek, a lot of them were already full, and some of them don't even accept vouchers. And a lot of these tenants, they aren't able to afford to pay out of pocket, so they need the voucher program, which is why we are requesting a Type A facility. And essentially what we would like to do is we would like to, if you look at that picture right there, to the right of it, there's a vacant lot, and we are in works of getting that through the land bank for like $100 or something like that. They have this program where you can acquire properties next to you if it's just vacant. And we want to turn that into a community garden for where the children will be able to learn about agriculture. So these are just, I just say that to say, we're not just looking to make just any kind of daycare where, there's toys on the lawn and it just looks like no one, not to say cares, but because you have to care to, start, but we want to distinguish ourselves from others because we want to have this approach of having a garden, a butterfly house, so things like that. And I just know the importance of a childhood and how that can play such an effect on your adulthood where, these your first few memories are when you're a child, and we really want those first few memories for those kids to be something that they can hold on to dear in their life and something that they can carry and be a benefit to the community. That's the goal, is to be a benefit to your neighbor, to be a benefit to the next child next to you. So this is just I guess to make just a caveat of what we're trying to do, but that's just on the surface. We engage with the community many times. We've actually just had an event on April 20th where it was local entrepreneurs who, they may sell different things they create or hairstylists but essentially we gathered all these people together And we had a vendor show for them to let people in the community know who they are. We were able to, find people who are looking to work in the daycare. So this will also be able to, give employment to people within the area as well. So I did not want my denial letter just to be the end of it because I am very passionate about this. And if there's anything else you may need to know, please let me know and I would be gladly to explain.
We're going to ask you some basic questions. So this is type A. So tell us how many children you plan to have.
Yes, this is type A. I don't plan on having more than like 12 to 15.
Okay, so 12 to 15. And your hours of operation?
So we will be closed on Sunday, but every other day will be 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. except Sunday is closed.
Okay, so Monday through Saturday then, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes.
Closed Sunday. And you mentioned that you had an opportunity to meet some people that you might employ. How many staff members do you think you'll have?
So I would more likely than not have 5 staff members, and 2 of them would be full-time, the other would be part-time. But that's not including myself or my partner. Those, we wouldn't be on payroll like that.
Okay. Explain to us how you're going to handle the pickup and drop off situation.
So we are going to have the children inside. No one's going to be outside, and pickup is going to be someone who is already authorized to pick up the child. So no one is able, for instance, a parent can't call the day off and say, hey, this person is going to pick up my child. No, anyone who they think is going to pick up their child, it has to be authorized. And once they pick up their child, they have to sign out. And we would then walk them to their car. We wouldn't, they can come inside as well, but we would have a system in place where we would walk them to their car and ensure that they are safe.
And where are people going to be parking to do that?
So there is space in front of the house where we can create like a roundabout. So there's actually parking in front of the house to the left. There's already a parking spot. It's not like fully concrete, but it looks like almost like 2, if you look to the left at the bottom picture where it's like white, that is a place people are able to park, but essentially we would like to create a round circle from the right side where you enter the driveway going to the left side where that concrete is, to the left side of the picture of the bottom middle.
Okay. All right. Does that complete your testimony at this time then?
And I would also like to add, since we are in works to getting the vacant lot next to us, we are still open to having a parking lot there as well. There's also parking, I should also add, in the back of the house when you enter the driveway through the right. But we do want to have a round circle though as well.
Okay.
Oval. Half circle, excuse me.
All right. And I see we had some correspondence in the packet. Ms. Kukla, this copy of this email that we got, is there anything in here besides the ages of the children that we should flag as pertinent to testimony?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. Did we have any further correspondence?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, so it says in this email copy that we had that you plan for the children to be 6 weeks old to age 17. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And is that going to be the childcare? Will that be the sole purpose of the building now?
Yes.
All right. So you're not operating a group home.
No.
All right. And I think I'm going to circumvent Ms. Wilson's usual question that she is known to ask, which is always a good one. What would be your hardship should you not get this daycare approved?
My hardship would be the money that I already invested as far as making it child-proof. I've recently just renovated the bathroom to ensure that there was no mold. And I would say that would be my biggest hardship is the money that I already put in to get it operated would be complete wash and me letting these young girls know, hey, I no longer have work available for you.
Okay.
And one gentleman.
All right. Okay. Ms. Holster, what questions do you have for the appellant?
Madam Chair, to the appellant, can you clarify, I think I heard you testify that you would have 12 to 15 children in the home. My understanding is that a type A daycare caps at 12 children. So I just want to clarify from the appellant how many children she's intending on having in the home.
Excuse me, yes, 12 children. I did overstate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent point of clarification, Ms. Holster, because that is correct. All right. Ms. Wilson, what questions do you have?
I think you know my usual question. That is exactly what I was asked, so I thank you in advance for asking that question.
Okay, I'm sorry if I took your question away from you.
No worries.
All right. All right. City planning, would you like to weigh in on this for us?
Yes, thank you. This is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. We recommend approval for the use as a daycare at this facility. I think the only concern we would have would be to the parking plan in the front of the building that the applicant spoke of. I think it looks like there should be enough room in the rear of the home to take care of any pickup and drop off. Moving forward, I don't think trying to set up a roundabout in the front of the structure would be it wouldn't meet the goals of walkability for city planning, and I think it would be a better plan to take care of pickup and drop off in the rear. That being said, I believe it looks like the applicant has decent yard space that they're providing on the site plan to take care of the needs that the children have as far as outdoor play areas. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Super. Let's remind Mr. Bay, if you would, the appellant of any permitting or clearances that need to be made should she wish to install fencing or any other concrete work or things of that nature. That may pertain particularly if she is able to obtain that extra lot and wants to do some fencing or parking there.
I would actually defer to Shannon to explain in more detail, but just making sure that you that you submit a permit application for the height and type of your fence proposed as things move forward with land bank application. And I believe you would need to actually go through the Bureau of Transportation or the Streets Department with the city to actually sidewalk and streets to actually take care of any type of change or alteration in the right of way, which is difficult. I believe that from what I hear you asking, Madam Chair, I believe that answers your question, but I would defer to Shannon Leonard to describe more specifics if you need. I also see Ariel Washington's hand raised. She is a neighborhood planner for the area.
Super. Let me go to Ms. Washington since she's the neighborhood planner. Ms. Washington, go ahead.
I'm unable to hear if she is speaking.
No, this is Xavier Bay City Planning. She's not. Ariel, you are muted. If it was a mistake that your hand was raised, that's fine too.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
There we go. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I apologize. Good morning, everyone. I just have one question for the applicant, and I apologize if I missed this statement. I am unaware. This daycare, you are certified and everything, correct?
No, I did not complete the application with the certification because I wanted, just all my ducks to be in a row before I submitted.
Okay. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that building and housing, when you start pulling permits, they'll ask for information. Just wanted to be clear of that. And just like Mr. Bay stated with the parking situation and creating a roundabout,
Mhm.
they will follow up with you, but I don't think that that is allowed. However, I don't think that it is needed. But please check everything before, again, you get in a predicament where you have spent money and you're retroactively coming back for approval for things. And that's it. And I wish you great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Washington.
Miss Washington and Miss Sanders, have you had any prior conversation
No,
before
ma'am.
today? No, okay. So Miss Washington, if you wouldn't mind putting your contact phone in the chat so Miss Sanders can capture that.
Yes, I will.
Okay, Miss Sanders, Miss Washington is the city planner for your neighborhood.
Okay.
So you're gonna want to capture her phone number. I've asked her to put in the chat.
Okay.
So that if you need any further guidance or assistance going forward, you can reach out to her, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Certainly. Ms. Leonard, did you have anything further to add that the city planners have commented on?
No, I don't have anything to add, but for daycares, generally speaking, for them to get certification, they need to go through the zoning process first.
Right, exactly. This happens quite frequently, and this is sort of the first stop before they can finish all their documentation, so. Great. All right, if there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Wilson, if you might want to take this one.
This is Xavier Bay. I just wanted to let you know you are muted, Ms. Wilson.
I'm sorry, I just had an issue with my sound. Are we prepared to take a motion?
Yes, we are. I was asking if you
Perfect.
would do that, so.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, yes, Madam
Yeah,
Chair. Based on,
yeah, go ahead. Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
based on the testimony that we have heard here today, I move that we approve this calendar number. Yes, that's it. I move that we approve.
Right, this is calendar number 24-061. Could I have a second, please?
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Super, thanks, Ms. Holzer. Ms. Kukla, if you'll call the vote, please.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Bacon.
Yes,
Calendar number 24-061 is granted. It'll be ratified when we meet again, which will be on June 3rd. We will send the appellant a letter, and also if the appellant would like to contact our office for further instruction, she may do so the Wednesday after the 3rd, and that would be June 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
thank you. Good luck to you. Hope that lot is, you're able to obtain that. I think that'd be a nice addition to your package there.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to calendar number 24-062.
Sounds good. Our next case is calendar number 24-062. This is at 3121 West 25th Street. The Egg Carton LLC owner proposes to change use from a commercial building to a two-story masonry single-family residence in a C2 local retail business district and a pedestrian retail overlay district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Hoser. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to speak in this matter? All
There are
right,
no
I'm not
hands,
hearing
no
anything.
hands raised, sorry.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. Is there anyone online who wishes to speak in this matter?
She said that I want to really surprised, but living
Mr. Martin, this is your case.
for days. Then before
Yes, I guess I'm unsure,
was needed.
what to say, other than I'm seeking this, variance.
Mr. Martin, I'm sorry, but you're really breaking up on us at this point. We had a good connection when you were speaking previously. Right now, you're really breaking up.
Yeah, I'm hearing some background noise of someone speaking. there.
Okay, yeah,
Be better?
I am too. Mr. Bay, could you check the tech issues and have anyone who might need to be muted?
Yes, Madam Chair, I could also recommend that Mr. Martin turn off his video. It might help with the bandwidth coming through. If you wouldn't mind turning off your video so we can hear your audio better. Looking through, it looks like everybody else is muted.
Super. Let's try it again, Mr. Martin.
Yes, can you hear me any better now?
Much better. Yes, thank you so much.
Of course, yes. So,
Just need you to reply to the oath,
oh, yes,
provided you still want to move forward.
yes. I I do. My name is Gregory Martin. And yes, I swear that my testimony is the truth.
Let me state it for you just to make it a little bit easier. Sounds like we've got bad service. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. My name is Gregory Martin, GregoryMartin. I live at 3121 West 25th Street. And again, as long as everyone's hearing me okay, I believe this is the final step in this process of looking to rezone.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
we're just doing the oath right now, sir.
Mm-hmm. But you've
And
given
then-
us everything we need, and we thank you. Is there anyone else online who wishes to speak in this matter? Okay, I don't hear anything. I'll hand it back to you, Madam Chair.
Super. Thanks so much. We'll go to history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was zoned general retail in 1929. And then it was changed in 2012 to local retail and placed in a pedestrian retail overlay district. In our records administration office, we found that in 1923, a permit was issued to erect a substation to the Cleveland Railway Company. And in 1926, a permit was issued to erect a new storefront. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you. Interesting bit of history on the substation.
Yes.
All right, we'll go to legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the maximum front yard setback requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thanks so much. All right, Mr. Martin, you're on. Tell us what is going on with your project.
Yes, so I purchased this building back in 2021, and it had previously been vacant for, I believe, 3 to 4 years, and was previously used as a recording studio before I purchased it. As you can see, it's located between a bank and a strip club, and my intent was to turn it into a single-family residence for myself and also locate my personal art studio within it. And in the preceding years, I've done a lot of work to try to fix it up, landscape the front, and as you will see in one of the photos, I just recently replaced a 6-foot chain link fence with a shorter 4-foot decorative aluminum fence, again, trying to improve the street appearance of it as well. And because it's though zone commercial now, I don't have any of the services that you would get as a residence. You know, I've not had trash pickup in the past 3+ years, or any of those things that you might get with a residential location. And again, the intent is to try to have this rezoned. And I know I previously had gone in front of the other board to get approval, and I guess this is the final step. And apologies for the lack of kind of understanding the process here, but I guess there's one final variance needed in order to get this through, and that's why I'm seeking that here today.
So that is why we try and be as clear as with the process as possible, Mr. Martin, because for those who are not, for the average resident, this can be somewhat daunting going through this process. So we try and be as resident friendly as possible. So if we understand it correctly, you purchased this several years ago. You've been residing in the building since then as a single family residence. Is that true?
That is true.
And that you're seeking to continue to do that and also house your art studio in the building as well. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right.
And the studio is not a public studio. You know, it's a private studio space in which to create work.
Okay, so it's really for essentially production of your art, not for sales and showing.
Correct.
All right. All right. Super. So we just have the one variance, which is the front yard setback. Proposing 9.5. And, okay, great. All right, Ms. Kukla, do we have any correspondence regarding this?
No, Madam Chair, we do not.
Okay, super, thanks. All right, I'll go to Ms. Wilson for questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am all set.
All right. Ms. Holzer, do you have anything?
Madam Chair, just because I think I missed it at the head, to the appellant, just to confirm, you are the owner of the Egg Carton LLC.
Yes, it is a limited operation, which I am the owner of the sole. Yes. Got
it. Just wanted to confirm that you were indeed the owner making testimony.
Yeah. The building, I needed to purchase it under a LLC.
Sure.
Purchase, yes.
Good question, Ms. Holzer, just to make sure that we didn't have a second party.
Beyond that, I don't think I had any questions. I don't think I had any questions beyond that, Madam Chair.
Okay, super. I'm just reviewing all the photographs that were in the packet. You have an interesting position in your location there, Mr. Martin, with your neighbors. Okay, we'll go to city planning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay, representing City Planning. We recommend approval for the variances being requested today. We worked with the applicant to kind of help them through the process. They already got conditional use approval through City Planning Commission. And so this is just, taking them through the rest of the process. The building is as is. There's no change to the footprint. So it's a good adaptive reuse of the facility, and yeah, we recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Bay. I think I would agree. It's an interesting building in an interesting situation. So kind of probably couldn't get a much more perfect owner for it. Okay. So we'll move to a motion. Ms. Holzer, would you like to take this one?
Sure. Having heard testimony from the owner and from city planning, I move approval of calendar number 24-062.
Super. Ms. Wilson?
Madam Chair, I would second the motion.
Super. Thank you. All right, Ms. Kukla, if you'll call the vote.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-062 is granted. It'll be ratified when we meet again on June 3rd. We will send the appellant a letter, but to the appellant, please feel free to contact us that Wednesday for further instruction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Good luck with your project. And hope everything works out well for you there.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to calendar 24-064, please.
Our next case is calendar number 24-064. This is at 2805 Seymour Avenue. Gladys Vargas, owner, proposes to install 6 banners in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is 1. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will swear in all who are present for this case. Is there anyone in the room wishing to speak in this matter?
We have 1 hand raised. Please come to the table.
Perfect. Wishing to speak in this matter?
You're breaking up a little bit, Ms. Wilson.
Oh. Can you guys hear me okay?
Much better, thank you.
Perfect. All right, so I will go back to the room and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
Gladys Vargas. Yes, I do. Gladys Vargas, 2805 Seymour Avenue. You said you spell my name?
Yes, please.
Glydys. Vargas, Vargas.
Thank you. And give your address.
2805 Seymour Avenue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Don't see anyone else in the room. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to history of the property, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1905, permit was issued to erect a dwelling in a garage. In 1946, a permit was issued to repair fire damage to a 2-story, two-family structure. Madam Chair, we do have 2 variances on file. In calendar 85-149, this board granted a variance to convert a portion of the first floor to a beauty salon, and that was in 1985. And then you may remember this from earlier this year in calendar 24-18, this board granted a variance to change use to shoe repair. And that was, again, earlier this year. And the date of that was, sorry, I apologize, March 11th, 2024. Thank you.
All right, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the banner requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, Ms. Wilson?
Appellant is requesting a variance from the banner requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you. All right, Miss Vargas, wasn't expecting to see you back so quickly.
Me.
Tell us about these banners that you want to put up.
Okay, these are banners that I purchased and put on my walls there. They just announcing the shoe shop. I'm willing to take some out, some down if necessary. What I would like to ask is not to have to hire a contractor, but to put these banners. These banners are attached with a 1-inch screw on the wall, and I want to be able to get the permit myself if they were necessary.
All right. I see we've got them on both sides of the house and then 3 in front. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. How's the shoe business going? Have you opened officially?
It's going slowly but surely, but it's getting there.
Okay, all right.
You know, new business takes time.
Right. Remind me again, is this it's a relative, is it not?
Yes, my brother-in-law is running it.
Okay, right. Okay. All right, let's go to questions. Ms. Holzer, I'll start with you.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I was muted. I just need 1 second to reread.
Sure. I think, Mr. Bay, do you have the visuals up on screens? Can you just sort of show all 3 of them?
Madam Chair, this is Xavier Bay. Is this the slide you're asking for? I don't have the.
I do. Yeah, I do not have any visual on screen. Mr. Bay, I've got the pictures in the packet, but I just want to make sure that the other board members are able to review the visuals of all these signs.
Understood.
Madam Chair, then based off of what we're seeing to the appellant, are the banners already posted on the home?
They are.
They are. So this is an asking for forgiveness case?
I would say so, yes.
And per the code, do the banners then, to the appellant, do the banners stay up year round, or do they come down after? It says no more than 4 months. So are the banners displayed year round or only for a certain time period? I'm sorry, I'm not hearing anything in case there's a response.
I'm not sure Mr. Vargas understood the question, but it appears since they're affixed to the building, they are permanent and year round. Is that correct, Ms. Vargas? They're up all the time.
Yes, I would like to have it all the time.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Ms. Holzer?
It does, thank you.
All right. Okay, Ms. Wilson, what do you have?
To hear from city planning, if that's possible.
All right, yes, we're going to go to Mr. Bay next. City planning, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay representing city planning. We would recommend approval for the signs. I did have a conversation with the applicant to remove one of the signs off the front face of the building and one of the signs off of the right side of the building, so that they would have one on each side and then 2 on the front. That should be suitable amount to really be able to get the word out about the business. Typically, we would prefer a replacement of the cabinet sign that was between the 2 windows on the 2nd floor. But I think what she's presenting today should be good, so that they can get business going and then potentially move in the future to actually get cabinet signs instead.
Okay. Explain to us, if you would, which of the signs you suggested removal of?
Yeah, so give me 1 second here, let me zoom in. If you're looking at the building directly front on, to just have two signs presenting the business that's taking place on site, I believe it could be up to the applicant as to what two signs should stay, but I just think the total amount on the front of the building should be two banners, and then just one on the right and the left of the building facade.
Okay, all right. I think probably, so that would reduce the number. What are we at total now? We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6. Removing 2 would bring the number to 4. And that would mean 1 on each side and 2 on the front. Are you clear on that, Ms. Wilson? Because I think you're going to be crafting the motion on this. If you're willing.
Okay, so we want to limit it to 2 signs in the front and 1 on the side.
1 on each side.
Oh, one in the front and 1 on the side.
There's 2 on the front, 1 flanking each side of the staircase,
Mhm.
and then 1 on each side.
Okay, and so the motion will be conditional on only having 1 on each side.
Correct, and 2 on the
Okay.
front instead of 3.
Okay, so we would allow 2 in the front then. Okay, I got that.
Got that?
I do.
And that's
All right.
based on Mr. Bay's statement as the city planning having conversation with the appellant.
All right, I am prepared to make a motion. Are you ready at this time, Madam Chair?
Yes, if you'd like to move forward,
Oh.
go ahead.
Madam Chair,
Perfect, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is
Yes.
Liz. If we could have the appellant state on the record that she is fine with the conditions and that she's agreeing with Mr. Bay's statement.
Sure.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Thank
Super.
you, Madam Chair. I'm not sure if you heard her. She did say yes.
Yes, we heard her.
Mhm.
And based on the fact that Mr. Bay said he had conversation with her, I think we were assuming that she was okay, but definitely great to put it on the record.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so I think Ms. Wilson, you can move forward now.
Well, Madam
Okay,
Chair, I
perfect.
apologize. The appellant
Whoops.
has her hand raised.
Yes.
Again, Ms. Wilson.
Yes,
That's
and
okay.
about having to hire a contractor for the permits. Like I said before, I would like to be able to pull out the permits myself if the permits are necessary.
That is not something that is in our purview. We're just making sure that you're okay, that we're approving your signs.
So, Madam Chair, I would state to the appellant, again, this is Liz Kukla.
Yes.
I would say to the appellant that this is the application for the signs. So you went to Building and Housing and submitted plans to them, correct? And so this is the application for the sign. So the permit has been applied for. So when you go back to Building and Housing after this is ratified, you would speak to them as to whether or not a contractor would be required. That is between the appellant and Building and Housing. We wouldn't have any control over what Building and Housing, Housing requires for the site, for the signs to be allowed on the building. This is just the variances allowing the size and the numbers.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Kukla. I think this is another situation where let's be sure that Ms. Vargas has contact information for the city planner for the area.
This is Xavier Bay from City Planning. I can definitely follow up with the applicant and make sure that you have the contact for Brittany Pavone, the neighborhood planner for your area. And I could also follow up with the applicant and just kind of help clarify anything else needed to help her get through the rest of the process.
Super, thanks so much. I think let's make sure that we give her the support and assistance she needs so that they can hopefully get this business up and running and flourishing, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, Ms. Wilson, I think now we can go ahead with the motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, based on the testimony that we have heard in this matter, I move that we approve calendar number 24-064. And we'll make that approval conditional on the appellant limiting the number of signs that are presented on the building. We will allow one sign on either side of the building and 2 signs in the front of the building flanking the stairs.
Thank you. Ms. Holzer, would you second?
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Thank you so much. Ms. Kukla, back to you if you'll call the vote.
Thank you. Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-064 is granted. It'll be ratified on Monday, June 3rd. We will send you a letter, but please feel free to contact our office the Wednesday after that, June 3rd, for further instruction. There's nothing more that you need to do until you receive that approval from us.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day.
Ms. Vargas. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that brings us to 24-065.
All right, our next case is calendar number 24-065. This is at 2325 Kinkle Avenue. Rosemary DeJesus, owner, proposes to establish use as a limited lodging, parenthetically Airbnb, for more than 91 days per calendar year in a C1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will swear in all who are present for this matter. Is there anyone in the room wishing to speak?
Please come to the table. Yes, Madam Chair, we have one person coming to the table with their hand raised.
Thank you for
Okay.
being the hostess today, Ms. Kukla.
You're welcome.
All right, I will go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
Yes, I do. Rosemary DeJesus, ROSEMARY DEJESUS.
Okay, thank you. And did you give your address?
2325 Kinkle Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109.
Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter?
I am Khadijah DeJesus, daughter-in-law. I may speak if necessary, but I am online.
Okay, I will go ahead and swear you in.
Okay, thank you.
Is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do, and my name is Khadijah DeJesus, KADIJAHDEJESUS. My address is 503 Baggery Trail, Cleveland, Ohio, 44143.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, here, Chair.
All right, great. We'll take history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1961, a permit was issued to repair fire loss to a 2-family dwelling. There are no variances on file, and in the more recent history, we do see that in 2022, 2023, and 2024, their rental registration was issued to the property. And also, Madam Chair, regarding the lead safe certificate, we did see that one was applied for in February of last year, and it is still pending. Thank you. That's all that I have that's relevant. Thanks.
All right, so the rental was 22, 23, and 24?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Super, thanks. All right, we'll go to legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the limited lodging requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you. All right, Ms. DeJesus, Rosemary, tell us about your plan for the Airbnb situation.
Well, recently I haven't had no luck, renting by Section 8 and other people. And I'm planning to see if I can rent it to nurses or doctors around the area close to Metro, and to see if I have better luck renting like that for Airbnb.
So were you renting Section 8 previously?
Before, yes, 2 years, but it wasn't no luck. They destroyed the apartment real bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get, responsible people.
All right. All right. Board, do you want to hear from city planning on this before I ask you questions?
Yes, please, Madam Chair.
Okay. And I see someone with a hand up. Who is that, Mr. Bay?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Xavier Bay. Shannon Leonard has her hand raised. I'd defer to her to speak first.
All right, Ms. Leonard, if you want to go ahead and make statement, please.
Yeah, good morning, Madam Chair, Shannon Leonard, Chief Zoning Administrator. So Airbnbs, you're probably going to start seeing a lot more of these come through.
Yes.
Under our current zoning legislation, it's under limited lodging. And there's been some federal and local changes as it relates to how we adjudicate these. And so they're being adjudicated right now as under our current limited lodging as it relates to longer than, so if you want to do it longer than 91 days in a calendar year, so if it's like a year around short-term rental. Council is working on legislation that should be going through the legislative process here in the next couple months, where there will be a density restriction as it relates to only having a certain amount on each block, as well as a licensing requirement. So now that when people are calling to add Airbnb, we just directed them to go ahead and apply for a use permit. If they're choosing to do it for longer than 91 days, then we have to adjudicate as for the variance that you see today. Whether it's owner occupied, we were told by law that we can't adjudicate under that. I do believe Ms. DeJesus said that her or her niece would be living in the home, so it would be one of the units would be owner occupied and the other would be the Airbnb rental. But I'm just putting that out there that in the future you will be seeing more of these coming to you. And as the city starts understanding where these are actually located and requiring that license down the road, these will be in place, but then you will be looking at that density bonus down the road. But right now, today, we just directed this applicant as well as others that have been coming forward to submit for a use permit. As of right now, they do have to seek that variance for the 91 days.
Super. Yeah, I think we've discussed that, and thanks for refreshing our memories on that. And I think we were anticipating that we were going to be seeing more of these cases. So in that regard, I think Ms. DeJesus is ahead of the curve. So, okay. Is there any other further comment from city planning?
Madam Chair, this is Xavier Bay representing city planning. It's great to hear that it is going to be owner occupied. That's definitely we would recommend approval, for this variance. On the grounds of, just, it's great to hear that it's owner occupied. This is nursing housing that they're providing, which is a, nearby institution, in the area here, just up the street on 25th Street. And to our knowledge, there's not an oversaturation on this street for, of Airbnbs.
Right, exactly. Ms. DeJesus, for the record, the Airbnb is on the second floor, right?
Yes, it is.
And do you occupy the first floor presently?
Yes, yes, I do.
All right. And you intend to remain there?
Yes,
All right. Okay. And your intent is, as you stated previously, to use this for housing for short-term medical staffing
right.
at Metro, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll go to who would like to go first? Ms. Holzer or Ms. Wilson?
Madam Chair, I do have a question. The standard, there was an area, but it appears to me that this would only be a use variance. Can I have someone clarify that for me?
Excellent point, Ms. Wilson. Who would like to handle that question for Ms. Wilson? Mr. Bay?
Hello, Madam Chair, this is Xavier Bay. I defer to Mary, our legal advice.
All right, excellent.
Let me see, okay, so use as limited lodging. I'm not sure why I did area on this one.
Madam Chair, this might be a question, I'm sorry to interrupt, to Shannon. Is this a permitted use in multifamily?
This is a permitted use in multifamily. It's the extending of the 91 days. So under limited lodging, it's just longer to be able to use it as year round.
So Madam Chair, that might answer Ms. Cornely's question. The
Area
use
has to
is
do with the time.
permitted, but it's the time period that's a
Right.
question.
Area variance.
So it's more of an area variance.
It's a use condition. It's a condition of the use.
Okay. Do we have clarification then in everyone's mind on that? Ms. Wilson, are you satisfied?
Yes, thank you.
Super. Ms. Holzer, anything?
Madam Chair, going back to the legal standard, and I know that this is stealing Ms. Wilson's question, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about the lack of economic feasibility without granting this variance. It sounds like it had previously been a rental, and while the appellant has had some challenges recently finding a new tenant, it does sound like previously it had been a long-term rental, and so would like to hear a little bit more about the lack of economic feasibility.
So, Kadisha, like el nombre Kadisha.
Well, the intent is to just try a different type. I'm sorry, I should have raised my hand.
Be sworn in, okay? So you could ask to be sworn in now.
Yeah, if I may.
So excuse
Yeah,
me.
who's speaking?
Madam Chair, we have a gentleman that's in the
It's-
audience here that would like to
it's-
come to the table and testify.
It's
And
my
speak
son.
and speak on behalf of Ms. DeJesus.
Yes.
It appears
Yes.
so, yeah.
All right, he
My
can step
son.
forward. Ms. Wilson, will you do a swear in for us, please, for this gentleman?
Absolutely. Or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please raise your right hand, reply what I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Daniel DeJesus, Daniel Dejesus. I reside at 503 Thackeray Trail, Richmond Heights, Ohio, 44143. As far as the last question, what was that again?
Ms. Holzer, would you like to repeat the question since the gentleman is going to be speaking. You're the son, correct, Daniel?
Yes.
All right, yeah. If you want to go ahead, Ms. Holster, repeat the question so Mr. Jesus' son can respond to that for her.
Sure. So the legal standard says, and I don't know if we want to pull up the legal standard again, that there would be no economically feasible use of the property without granting this variance. And so based off of the testimony we heard, it had previously operated as a long-term rental. And while there were some issues more recently renting out the property, it does sound like there was a previously economic viable use. And so I'd like to hear a little bit more about why, basically addressing the legal standard around the economic feasibility of the property without the granting of the variance.
So the reason, well, prior to this, like she mentioned, we just haven't been successful. She's owned the property probably about 10 years now. And like pre-COVID, the long-term being more than 91 days, we could never keep a tenant in there longer than 12 months. With that being said, we're just, exploring different types of tenants, at this point, travelers, or as like she mentioned, the nurses or doctors who have, these type of contracts where they can travel and have somewhere to stay near Metro. And that's pretty much it. If the variance isn't accepted, it would probably just remain vacant, because at this point we just, like I said, we haven't had any luck with tenants. The rent rates are going up in the area, and it's just, it just costs too much to refresh and renovate every time somebody decides to leave. It's a small 2-bedroom, so even if somebody does come in, it's always like temporary. It's not something that a family is going to be in for a long time, if that makes any difference.
Thank you.
Any further questions, board? Did we have any correspondence on this, Ms. Kukla?
No, there is nothing in the file.
All right, great, thanks. All right. Anything further from city planning? All right, I'll entertain a motion, ladies.
I was gonna say no.
City planning, do you want to reiterate your support or non-support?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. Yeah, I just want to reiterate that we do support. The grounds I gave, since Shannon's advice towards us not requiring the owner to live in the home, since that's unconstitutional from the law department's perspective, my grounds were because, to our knowledge, the street is not oversaturated with Airbnb units, and that this would provide support for our local institution.
Okay, great.
Madam Chair, I have a question for
yes, Ms. Holzer.
And so again, just to clarify or reiterate, the city planning support is both because there is not an oversaturation and because it will be owner occupied.
That's a benefit from our perspective, but it can't that can't be taken into consideration because of law's advice.
Sorry, I missed that last part, Xavier.
Yeah, I just said it's a good thing to hear that it's owner occupied, but like from Shannon's provision of law's perspective, that being an unconstitutional, right to prevent the variance. Shannon has her hand raised, she can probably speak better to that.
Shannon, you want to clarify this for Ms. Holzer?
Yeah, I just want to clarify the statement. So the law department and council has been working on legislation to address the short-term rentals in the city of Cleveland. As of right now, there is no enforcement tool, if you will, of one, tracking these as well as enforcing the limited lodging ordinance as it stands today. After recent Supreme Court cases, the law department stated that we could not enforce the owner occupancy, and meaning we cannot require an owner to live in their home. And so we don't adjudicate based on that statement in the new legislation that's coming out. The new legislation, there will be a density requirement, meaning that once the applications start coming in, this board would be able to grant a variance if there was not any more than, say, 20% on any given street or block within so many of each other, really to maintain that density, so they're not oversaturating our neighborhoods and taking away from the residential character of our streets. And so this applicant is the first applicant that we have received since this legislation is pending. And so we did direct her to seek out an occupancy permit to go ahead and seek that variance.
Does that
Thank you.
clarify it, Ms. Holzer?
I do, and I have one more question, Madam Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
To the appellant, has there been any conversation with your neighbors about this intended use?
No.
Is there any plan to have conversation with neighbors? Are the properties adjacent to this property occupied?
Yeah, sure.
Just from the spirit of, we've heard of other issues in other parts of the city with Airbnbs and neighbors not being able to get a hold of the owner when there are issues with the Airbnb. I can appreciate that the intended use is to rent out longer term to staff at a hospital, to nurses, so on and so forth. Though obviously when we pass, if we were to pass this, we can't control ultimately who is renting the Airbnb. And so while it's good to hear that's the intended use, again, we're not restricting it only to nursing staff or medical staff. And so again, from a good neighbor standpoint, just making sure that your neighbors know how to get a hold of you in case there are any issues with the Airbnb tenants. I don't know, obviously can't make that a contingency, but I just think that it's important in these cases for neighbors to be able to get a hold of the Airbnb operators in case issues do arise with those shorter term tenants, if you will.
Yeah, she resides downstairs, so.
No, and my neighbors, we know each other, everybody, and you know, we're getting good neighbors now. Taking care of the neighborhood is changing a lot for the better, you know. So we are all in touch, you know, if anything happened in the neighborhood. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
All right. All good questions, Ms. Holzer, because this is literally probably going to be the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, on these Airbnb cases that will come before the board. And while your point well taken, that while the intent, as stated by the appellant today, is that they intend to rent to medical staff at the adjacent hospital, that is outside of our control. So we have to take them in good faith on their word. Shannon, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Yeah, Ms. Holzer's comments as it relates to, so some of that licensing requirement that will go forward, if they get the variance today, they will have to seek out that license once that policy becomes, it's an annual license. It requires all Airbnb business holders to have a local property manager or a local contact that can be reached 24/7 should there be any issues. It also requires an annual license. So there's a lot of regulation around that annual license, and preventing some of the things that you're concerned with, as well as many different neighborhoods where these are most predominant in our city. So that is forthcoming with the license.
Great, thank you. You good with that, Ms. Holzer?
I am. Thank you. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, I think important conversation. To the De Jesus family, you are the first of what we anticipate will be many of such cases. So it's necessary for us to sort of have conversation and ask questions and get clarification on issues so that everyone's clear on what's going to be necessary and required going forward. Ms. Holzer, did you want to go with the motion on this then?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I thought I heard some noise. We're good?
I think we're good.
All right. Having heard testimony from the owner as well as city planning, I move approval of calendar number 24-065.
And Madam Chair, I would second.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson, for chiming in with the second. Ms. Kukla, if you want to call the vote, please.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-065 is granted. It'll be ratified on June 3rd. We will send you a letter, but please feel free to contact our office on June 5th for further instruction.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to our final case, calendar number 24-066.
Sounds good. Our last case is calendar number 24-066. This is an appeal by, and I apologize, I don't want to butcher anyone's name. Eben Reed from the decision of the Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses regarding denial of the tow truck application LUOU 24-0065. Eben Reed appeals under the authority of section 76-6B of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and section 329.02D from the decision of the Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses to deny a tow truck driver application. And that is application number LUOU 24-00065. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the room wishing to speak in this matter?
No, there is nobody left in the room.
Excuse me, this is, oh, yeah.
There,
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
I was just making sure you heard Liz, my bad.
No, I didn't. Did you confirm there was no one in the room?
Correct, yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter?
Do we have an appellant present?
Madam Chair, I see there are 2 call-in users. If the appellant is one of those, please press *6 to unmute yourself.
Hello, Sergeant Saridovic here. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you. We
Okay,
need
thank you.
We need an appellant. I see that we have our city representatives. Is Mr. Reed present with us? Mr. Reed, if you are on the phone, you need to hit *6 to unmute yourself.
This is Miranda. I believe myself and Sergeant Saridovic are the 2 call-in users.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thank you. Ms. Kukla, you want to try and reach out to the gentleman?
Sure, I was going to ask if you wanted me to do that. However, If we dismiss this today, we can send out an email and call, and if the appellant had some sort of special
Yeah.
circumstance, we could put him on the agenda again.
Yeah,
This
that was gonna be the plan. Thank you. That we're not gonna hold the meeting for you to reach out right now. So I meant to reach out and get him back, so. All right, could I have a motion to dismiss, please?
Motion to dismiss calendar number 24-066, Madam Chair.
A second, Ms. Wilson?
Second.
Thank you so much. To the sergeant and Ms. Talton, thank you for sticking with us this morning. We'll call the vote to dismiss Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Wilson? Sorry, Ms. Wilson? We can't hear you.
Is she muted or did we lose her?
She's muted.
All right, Ms. Wilson, you're muted.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, now we can.
Okay.
Ms. Wilson?
I'm here.
We're voting to dismiss, Ms. Wilson.
Oh, no objection. Maybe you didn't hear that.
I didn't hear you. All right.
I'm sorry.
And Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-066 is dismissed due to the appellant's lack of attendance and lack of contacting our office. We will reach out to the appellant to ensure that there's no extenuating circumstances that couldn't be prevented.
Thank you. And again, Ms. Talton and Sergeant, thank you for being present through the whole meeting to get to this case, only to not be able to hear it. We appreciate your time and
No problem.
efforts.
Okay.
Thank you. Everyone have a
Thank
great day.
you. You as well. All right. That concludes our cases for today. You had some notes on old business, Ms. Kukla?
Yes, Madam Chair, we sent out we made some revisions. I believe you all received those this morning. I should state for the record that we are holding the Madison Avenue approval as well as the Park Ridge Avenue approval. Those were originally sent as to be ratified this morning. The Park Ridge, the items that you requested for the Park Ridge Avenue has not been received yet, so that was an error. And the Madison Avenue, we just need a little bit more time. I'd like to consult with the law department on the language we're going to use for that.
Sure, just let's just read into the record the case numbers for those two.
Thank you. Calendar number 24-024, and that is regarding the 10022 Madison Avenue. That will not be ratified this morning. And then calendar number 24-060, regarding 6005 Park Ridge Avenue will also not be ratified this morning. And we are stating that because it was originally sent on your old business as the to be ratified this morning.
Right, super. Okay, so for ratification today, we have number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and number 12. Without objection, board?
Without objection.
No objection.
Super. All right, that takes care of that. And we have a request for reinstatement. You want to fill us in on that, Ms. Kukla?
Sure, this is BZA number 24-021. This is at 6107 St. Clair Avenue. The appellant requested to establish a tattoo shop at this location. It seemed during the time of the testimony that the reasoning for the withdrawal was that the appellant hadn't talked to the council person, and we received a denial request from the council person. So the appellant verbally withdrew at the time, and we sent him a letter after that hearing. Once he received that letter, he contacted our office and stated that he was confused as he thought that he was withdrawing to another date to postpone in order to meet with the council person. He has met with the council person. And actually, I was not able to clarify as to whether or not the council person is available, but he did, or sorry, if he is supporting it. But he did state that he did meet with the council person and that he believed that he would be back on the agenda after he met with the council person.
Did he
So-
give a date as to when he met with the council person?
No, I didn't get all those details. If you would like to hold this decision, I can do that.
I don't know. Well, the board can chime in, but I feel like I want to make sure that the meeting with the council person actually took place and was affirmative before he goes back on our agenda.
Madam Chair, that might be something that we want to get on the record. We might want to have testimony in front of the board and the public.
Right. Okay.
Maybe rescheduling
All right.
it would be best.
Ms. Wilson, Ms. Holster, what do you have are you in agreement with putting him back on the agenda?
I do not have any objection.
Okay.
Yeah, no objection from me either.
All right. Okay. So we'll go ahead and reinstate 24-021 then, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you. We will notify the appellant right away.
Okay. Anything else?
That is all that we have.
All right. All right. Super. All right. Next week is a holiday. We will not be meeting. Xavier, are we off public yet? I'll adjourn us.
Let me, give me one moment, Madam Chair.